Alright everybody, what I want to do is show you how I go about doing my custom cornhole bags. Let me show you a couple here that I got. And let's find the matching one. There we go. So what I do is I get customer pictures, and everybody out there, well not everybody, there's a lot of people that do the custom cornhole boards. So what I decided to start doing was custom bags, and they're not embroidered. These are 100% custom because you send, or my customers give me their pictures or their designs, and I put them on bags. In this case, the customer had 8 pictures of their dog, so I turned it into 4 green bags, outside edge, 4 brown bags, outside edge. This is a very heavy-duty polyester duck cloth that I use. It's more than twice as strong than the cotton. It won't rot and mildew, and I put 100% whole corn in mine. And I've also got the option that I can do the resin beads that meet the American Cornhole Association guidelines. So what I'll do is I'll show you how I go about doing these, and if you got questions, just feel free to ask in the comments, and I'll do my best to get back to you. So what I start with is white material. I take the images that the customer sends me, I put them on there, and then you got to do them like that, you know, because you're sewing them inside out and then you flip it around. So the first step that I have to do whenever I do these custom bags is I have to draw the square. Now their cornhole regulations say that they should be approximately or right at 6 inches square. This is actually a 6-inch tile. In this case, because I have the brown on here, I can see it through here. So what I do is I line this up all the way around, get it as close to square as I can. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I get it close. And I get my cornhole drawing pen, just a pen I got from the bank, and I put my marks down. Everybody asks me like, "Oh, I didn't know you know how to sew." I'm like, "Well, I don't know how to sew. I know how to follow straight lines." You don't have to be neat, because this is, like I said, it's going to be the inside of the bag. I'm just using that to get my lines. And once I've done that, you can see I've got my lines there. And I only come over this far because you got to leave a spot so you can fill it up with the corn. So now what I do is I make sure that these aren't upside down or anything. And all I'm doing is lining up my brown squares that I have. And it doesn't make a difference that this doesn't line up. It's important that the squares that are here match each other. You don't want a crooked dog or any other design. Now, I haven't checked my bobbin, so hopefully it holds up for us through this demonstration. So once I know that I got these lined up, I had to check because I was just playing around here. There we go. Make sure I got this. Now this sewing machine's probably from about 1930. Got it on Craigslist. Don't go out and spend a lot of money. I'll explain that to you here in a minute, why you shouldn't, or if you do, what you need to watch out for. If not, you're going to have a real fancy sewing machine that you can't use to do cornhole bags. If you do cornhole bags, you know what I'm about to say here in a few minutes. So I've got it in here, and I'm just going to, don't want it going backwards, I'm going to start walking it. And I'm just following this line, and what I do, people that know, or my wife, they tell me that this is a lock stitch. Okay? Then I just kind of pick up this a little bit, turn it, and I just check the corners here real quick, make sure that they're basically lined up, which they are. Now I know I can go to town on this. And sometimes I'll go right to the corner, or sometimes I walk it like that. Not a big deal. Follow the line. Now, a few months ago, I was like you. I was watching a YouTube video on how to do this. Okay. Alright, so there, that's done. I'm going to back it up, lock this in. I'm going to bring it forward, but then I'm going to turn this and I'm going to go all the way around. You double stitch these. The Cornhole Association says they need to be double stitched. So I'm about to do the double stitch. Make sure it's going the right way. Okay. Don't mind that, that's just my heater kicking in. Okay. And there's a lot of people with fancy cornhole boards, and then they just got these ugly blue and green bags, or they find someone that's got the material and they're like, oh, here, I have some custom bags. They're not custom, they're just dyed material. And it's not even you getting to pick what it is. I'm locking the stitch right now. Bring it back. Okay. And pull it on out. So, stitch together. I can see that everything looks good. So now what I got to do, once you want to play with what looks like grandma's pillows, you got to take these corners here and get in close. And what this is going to do, it's going to allow you, by removing this material, if you leave that in there, the corners come out rounded more than they are a corner. So you just get close to it, no rhyme, no reason. And let me get rid of a little bit of this. You don't have to, but it just, I don't like it there. There you have it. So now I take my thumb, stick it in there, and get right to this corner, right like that. Take it and push it as hard as I can to get that corner coming out nice and square. You'll see what I mean here in a minute. Now here's the next one. I always do these first two right by the hole. Just find it easier that way. This is why you got to make sure you leave that hole wide enough so that you can do this. If not, you're wrestling it, and then you can't get the corn to pull in there, or pour in there the way you need to. So here, I'm finding that corner again. Here's the corner number 3. Get my thumb right in there. Push it good and hard. See what I mean here. Find corner number 4. Get in there. Push it on out. So there you have it. I go around the edges, just flatten it down a little bit, see what I got. The last edge here. Now see, this isn't, I want that to be a little better. So I'm going to do is I'm going to just bring it back out. Get back in there again. You don't have to be nice to it because the stitching is pretty tight. There we go. There we go, that's better. So now you've got basically the bag here. Front and back. And now you got to fill it up with your corn. I make all of my bags weigh as close as possible to 15 ounces. It's supposed to be between 14 and 16. I go for 15. It's right in the middle. So I got a scale here off camera. Once again, I've got my corn. I know that's a little too much. I got marks in here so I can get real close, and then I just, wow. Eyes within 4 kernels. That's not bad. Wish I could do that every time, but I can't. So I take this, fill this up. Try not to spill too much. Alright. And I thought I dropped one. There it is. Alright, so now that I get it in there, what I do, I just pinch it real quick and I stretch it out a little bit. It will stretch a little. Heck, when you start throwing it, you know what torture these things take, so I just stretch it really quickly. It allows me to have a little bit more room in here for this last part. Now the last part is the trickiest part. And there's all kinds of ways. You can just stick it down there and go across. I take an extra step just because I don't want to deal with this corn getting up underneath my needle. I just do that. That's all I do. Make sure they're level. Pull that out of the way. These are regular clips that you use on paper. Small ones. I think they're the smallest. I'm sure they're smaller, but you see the size. Alright, so there I have it. This is going to allow me to get underneath this needle again and do what I got to do. Now earlier I told you don't want to necessarily go out spend a lot of money on a big expensive sewing machine. This machine, like I said, I got it for 50 bucks. And what I was looking for is I was using my wife's embroidery machine, regular sewing machine that does embroidery. And what I found is here, it was all built out. So when I tried to get this under, it would hit here and bind it up. If you look here, this is almost within a ½ inch straight up and down of that needle. I don't have to worry about any of this stuff getting in the way. Even if it gets close, I know that I can still have enough here that I can put this last stitch in. So let's do that real quick. Now the way I line this up, you've got this piece right here. Hopefully you can see that in the video. But it's just right there that the foot, pressure foot, I don't know the real word for it, but it holds whatever you're sewing in place with some pressure. So what I found is if I use this as the outside edge, it makes sure that all of my last stitches look the same on every bag. So what I'll do is put that in place. Oh, get a little corn there, no big deal. Pull that out. Alright, let's get this thing to stitch. Alright, couple forward, good lock stitch. Pull the first clip off. Pull the second clip off. Make sure the corn's staying out of the way. Come over here close to the edge. You don't have to get right to the edge because remember, you sewed in a little bit anyway. So I locked it. Open this up and pull it away. There's a little cutter here. I just find it easier for me to just grab a pair of scissors, go around and do a couple snips, clean it up. And there you have it. Custom cornhole bag. North Coast Imprints. I'll put my link down below if you need any for a special occasion. If you got a wedding, you just want to get some custom cornhole bags that'll hold up. Remember, they're twice as strong as cotton ones. Send me a message and or leave a message and I'll get back with you, and you can send me your pictures and I'll make you some custom cornhole bags. Thanks for watching. It's Tim from North Coast Imprints, and pretty much everything I do in here is custom. And today it's cornhole bags. It's 15 degrees outside here in Ohio, and I've got some sets that are going to Florida and California. So thanks again for watching.